Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my Dark Souls video walkthrough. So anybody that's new to the game, who got here for the first time without any knowledge, will probably be surprised about what's just happened. Because when you go into a boss fight and you die, you expect to go back to the last checkpoint. And if that happened against that Seath fight where you're supposed to lose, that would be really aggravating. But luckily enough, it's almost a programmed death, so it puts you into the prison of the Duke's Archives. As soon as you leave the doorway, there are two of these serpent guys from Sen's Fortress, and for some reason their pathing is obsessed with running up the stairs. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they want to cock-block you from getting to the door. I don't know if they just prefer higher ground. You know, maybe they're a pair of racists going to go and heckle a minority. They could be anything, but I'm not sure why they do it. And you're also going to be introduced to a new enemy, which is this thing. It's kind of like the squid version of Barbara Streisand, only with dreadlocks, which is probably closer to Whoopi Goldberg. And they do a close-quartered grab, a long-range grab, and they do like a little jizz shot of bubbles. I'm not too sure what that's about, but they're pretty weak to fire, they're pretty weak to anything really if you hit them right, and they're not the most challenging of enemies. One really cool factor that I do like about this particular enemy is it drops humanity. So feasibly, you could farm humanity off this enemy by keeping going back to the bonfire. I wouldn't recommend it because it's much quicker with the baby skeletons or maybe the rats in the depths. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of farming humanity, purely because I'd rather do PvP to get it. Even though it does give you soft humanity, it doesn't give you the... Actually, I don't know why I'm referencing humanity in all its terminology, because I don't fucking know what they call half of it. It doesn't give you it in item form, which is the stuff that you really need. The stuff up in the corner is great, but it's not life or death if you don't have it. But now you've cleared this out of the threatening jelly monster guys with dreadlocks, the Jamaican jelly team. There's these two over in the corner that don't aggro and actually take a bit of a beating considering the other guys went down really quickly. But when you kill these two, they will drop spells. I'm not too sure about the fiction behind them. You know, maybe they just like big hats, maybe they're friendly with Logan. I don't know. No idea what that's about. But you'll notice Big Hat Logan is once again imprisoned. The key to get him out is in the later part of the archives. I'm not going to be going back, but it is worth doing, mainly because you'll get some awesome spells of him if you're a spellcaster. You'll also carry on his little quest line. An additional reason for doing it is there's a Firekeeper soul in the room he's imprisoned in, sorry. So, a lot of reasons to do it, not many not to, except for I want this to be a pretty quick, streamlined run through Duke's Archive, and to do that generally means no backtracking. And there are a couple of tricks you can use in Duke's Archive to get through it. One of them involves exploiting Homeward Bones. For instance, you can get all the way to the key that releases Logan, you can rest at that bonfire there, you can come all the way back here, don't touch this bonfire, rescue Logan, and then Homeward Bone back to where you came from. Only problem with that strategy is you need to be comfortable with Duke Archives so that you don't die on any of the journey. Also, you might be wondering why I'm not going into these rooms and getting the items and things. I know what's in the rooms and none of it is particularly necessary for this build or for this playthrough, so like I say, it's a streamlined, quick version through the game. If you want anything more in-depth and silly, then check out my playthrough, because that has live commentary. I'm playing the game live, I'm going in all the nooks and crannies pretty much, and I'm generally making a clown of myself in almost every environment, and as I do a lovely rolling flip the dead body move right there. But this is the ladder that the serpents try and cock-block you on. And if you don't know, if anybody's above you or below you on a ladder that can interact with you, it's a little bit stupid, but it can be funny when you're teabagging. Just don't get too excited teabagging, because sometimes you can put multiple inputs into the game, so when you actually go to the bottom of the ladder, you'll do a backwards flip or a backwards dash, and if you need to an edge, you can kill yourself. Don't ask me how I know that. These areas that you're going to be traversing through here are really cheesy. They're filled with enemies, they're filled with little booby traps. Like, this is an archer being a nuisance. There's also a sneak attacker to my left who will generally jump at you if you go too close to him. But I've been through Duke's Archives plenty of times, so I know all the little tricks. This room here, if you've got a bow, you want to shoot the channeler up at the top. It makes this area much more manageable. He will always be there. You generally only get one hit on him before he teleports to this corridor here where I've just ran through. To your right's a dude. That is where this weapon really lets you down sometimes on stuff like the running attack. This is also the section that benefits from the fog ring. If you're wearing a fog ring, half the archers in this area will not shoot at you because they can't see you. The channelers must have gone to Specsavers because those motherfuckers can see you from some stupid distances. I have no idea why. Maybe it's one of those magical things where they can sense you. Maybe it's like, you know, Van Damme's granddad in Hard Target, where he comes and he sees his papa and he tells him that there's some bad men following him, and his papa responds with probably the best line of the film, "I know, I can smell them." And how can he smell them? No idea. Maybe he spent too long in, you know, Louisiana's bayous, but we don't question it. We don't question Van Damme's mullet. We don't question all the slow motion walks. We just accept it as genius that it is. But the archives themselves, they're just these two rooms really, and these pathways that are on the balconies. And the way to traverse it is to drop down onto the staircases and rotate them. And if you follow the path that I take, I row cake. I make cakes with paddles. No, I rotate the first one so that you can come onto this balcony, drop down onto this one, run up here, kill this guy. You can avoid him if you want, but you're going to set yourself up with a bit of bother because he's like a sniper from Gears of War. He's off in the distance. You generally don't notice him until you're dead. He can do some serious damage if he buffs himself and then he hits you with a soul arrow, so it's just much easier to kill him. Then you want to go to this lovely opening here. If you've got a bow or any kind of distance weapon or distance spells, you can kill this archer. If you don't, do not slide down the ladder because he'll shoot you with arrows and he can pretty much kill you before you get to the bottom. Actually, that might be wrong. I think you can get to the bottom without dying. It's the other way. You cannot climb the ladder while he is alive because he will just keep peppering you with arrows and he hurts a lot. I have no idea why, you know, anorexic crystal men are so powerful with arrows, but these guys really are. And I think that's another reason I don't like this area. I don't like this enemy. They're not fun to fight, they're not fun to backstab, they're not fun to counter, they've got a weird moveset, they're kind of gangly. I don't know, I'm really anti-Duke's Archive, and I don't know why, because aesthetically, it looks really nice, but I just don't think they utilised it well. They put a combination of enemies that I find really cheap. You know, dudes in corners jump shotting you, bows and range, so arrows are flying at you from every angle, channelers that buff the bitch enemies and then be bitches themselves. It's ridiculous. It's like a fucking dog show. Absolute nonsense. But I run out of ammos. I do apologise, guy. I must be tired. I have no idea why I'm turning into word soup so frequently, but I realise that I've got black firebombs all the way from the start of the game, and because I have nothing else to hit this dude with, I throw the black firebomb and I'm like, yeah, victory. But funny story, this is the area that I was in chat with my buddy to, and I've never been in chat on Dark Souls before because I didn't realise you could do it, but there are ways, and I was in automatic mode talking to him, you know, helping him out because he was asking a lot of questions, I was answering a lot of stuff, and I went into autopilot mode opening chests, and guess what I opened? Yep, I died by the Mimic for the very first time, and I don't know why. It's ridiculous. You can see I'm stood around because I'm talking, and I can't play and talk at the same time in any real fidelity. But do you see the edit there? Do you see the sneaky transition where I've lined up? Suddenly go from, you know, having souls to not having souls and then picking up my body. Just bullshit. But there's the Mimic chest. You'll notice that the chain is all the way out facing me. That's how you can tell. He drops an enchanted falchion, which is actually a really fun weapon, and it's the easiest weapon to upgrade to max in the enchanted tree if you're going for the achievement. There's a crystal ember, which is really good. You give that to the blacksmith in Anor Londo. There are tough sell crystal weapons because you can't repair them, and they take all the same, you know, synthesis materials that the other things take, so it can be hard to advocate ever upgrading the crystal path, but it does give you a lot of base damage. So in this room, this chest over here, I'm not too sure what it gives you, but you'll notice I'm being a bit tentative, even though I know it's not a mimic, because, you know, once bitten, twice shy. Couple of chunks. In the other room, one of the chests contains the key to Logan's cell, so this is the area that you've got to go back from. I'm chilling around, I'm not too sure what I'm doing right now. And all you should really be doing here is pulling the lever and going to the bonfire. Opening up the shortcut, all that good stuff. But I seem to be deliberating, so I do apologise for that, guys. But not too much left of Duke's Archives, because we're going to be moving into the Crystal Caves. The Crystal Caves are significantly worse if you've never been to them, because From Software are evil geniuses. They truly, truly are. But there's your bonfire. And then from here we're going to be traversing through this forest to my right that looks nice and idyllic. It's not. It's filled with crystal golems. It's far too short. It could have been a really nice, you know, journey through a forest. But just like everything else in Dark Souls, it's short and sweet, and it soon gives way to one of the most bullshit areas of the game. But under here, you'll notice there's a sneaky golem and a chest, which I'm going to be picking up, but the video's probably going to stop as I traverse through the fog gate. We'll soon find out. And I'm hitting every chest now. Look at me. Look how paranoid I am after that little endeavour. Those right there are prism stones. They will come in handy if you don't know your path through the Crystal Caves, because you can drop them, and he drops it in front of him, and it tells you whether or not you can step there, or whether or not it's a fatal fall. And just be careful though, because the prism stones can be deceptive. So can the path through this level. But you're going to find out all about that in a few moments. I'm not killing anything in this garden. I'm completely skipping the golems. And I'll see you guys in the Crystal Caves. You take care now.